So as you can see in this screen, we have AEM and we have like Asset Compute Firefly app. We have like Adobe services in this case, which is like CCAI. So during the development time, what you have to do, like sometimes you need to test it. So the first use case we are trying over here is a custom worker, just to get a feeling for all of you to see like how a custom worker works and what it does for you. So
we are
to
not
do
seeing
that,
your screen, Santosh.
is it?
No.
Okay. Looks like I have a bad day today. Yeah, you should be able to see now.
Yeah, we see it now. We'll switch.
So as you can see in this diagram, so whenever you upload an asset, so it will immediately go to Cloud Blob storage. So it will store the binaries over there. Then it will make a HTTP call to Asset Compute Service. This Asset Compute Service will perform authentication and authorization. And once that authentication and authorization is done, then it will hand over the, you can say like everything to this custom action, which we will see how does that work. So what this custom worker will do, it will download the binaries from the blob store, the assets from the blob store. It will process the assets, then it will upload the renditions again into the blob store, and it will generate an event and IO event. So that event, when that IO event is generated, then AEM already knows how to pull it. So what AEM will do at appropriate time, it will pull the event from IO journal, and it will download the renditions from this, download the renditions, and it will process the result. So that is how it works in AEM. But if you want to develop locally, you don't have to have a AEM environment. You just have to have either a Azure Blob Store or a AWS Blob Store. So anything can work. So this is what we are trying to do. So this is the URL that we will be using. I just used it inside this Firefly app. So go to this URL and copy this credential, copy this credential and go to your env file, which you will get here. So this should be .env file and put it here. Then save it. So let me know like if you are finished up to this part. Okay, so once you do that, then just say like AIO app run. Go to your command prompt, like something like here, and I will not run it. So I will just say I know the hack. So I'm just using a hack. So if you see like a run like AIO app run, then you will see like something similar to this. So, are you guys done? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear also, but I don't see anything in the moment.
Yeah, the screen share's
Okay.
gone back. So I think I've created my 5. I've done up to the end of the prerequisite, and then I'm not. I wasn't entirely sure what I need to do next.
Okay. So everyone completed up to this part?
I can barely. It's hard to read. 1 second.
Because it's already there. You just go to this lab. It's publicly available. You just have to copy it. I already pasted that URL.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 1 second.
So this is the credential you need to copy.
We cannot see your screen. Here. Okay, now we see it.
Okay. So we just drop in that whole Azure storage credential section?
Yeah. So you just have to replace it in your .env file like this. You will see it here. I don't know, like my app name is color demo. You might have named like something different. All set, Martin? Everything working?
Yeah. My file looks slightly different to yours.
Okay. Sven, you are saying got this error after accepting the certificate. Open this unknown error from API. Socket handle.
Yeah, this error. I don't know what I can do about it. Are there some logs where I can get more details, or because it could be a proxy related issue on my computer?
I think it should be a proxy related issue. Yeah. So how many of you completed AIO app run? Just say yes and no so that we already know if we can proceed further or wait
I
for
get
everyone else.
Yeah. So mine says, "Congrats, you've accepted the certificate."
Okay. No. Okay. PM is downloading.
I'm trying also to install in parallel, but I think I'm failing. That's my computer is running hot.
Yeah. So anyone who has completed it, this up to this part, AIO app run.
Yeah. So I've done that now.
Okay, cool. So if you have completed that part, then just say like run. It will say like renditions.jpg, just say run. And it will generate a rendition for you. So it's generating a rendition.
I don't know whether I've just done something wrong somewhere else because I don't see that screen.
When you write AIO app run, what does it say?
I get a screen that says, "Welcome to the name of my app. Run your application backend actions," and then I've got a test action and a publish events, just with headers and parameters and an invoke button.
Okay, I think it's starting up for you. It will take some time. And yeah, and in case if it is taking too long for you, just try this command. Okay, so once you have done that, then you don't have to do AIO app deploy. That means your environment is working and you are ready to do the next few things, which we will do, like color extractions, which I have shown in my demo. We will also try like keyword extraction. Those are the two custom worker we will write. We will configure it inside AEM. So the first thing is to set you up with a custom worker.
So just to double check, should I have some stuff under the like the actions and things? Should it contain some stuff other than the test ones it created, or I don't know if I've missed a step in the setup process.
So what are you getting if you say AIO app run?
So it starts up and it starts up a local server running on port 9080.
Yeah,
And
that's fine.
if I go to that, but it doesn't show anything like what you showed.
Yeah, then you can say like just Control C, just say Control C, it will terminate everything. And I posted one more command here, npx Adobe dev asset compute, then dev tool. Just use this command instead of AIO app run.
I get a not found, it's not in the registry.
So for me, that command worked. The Whisk server was not able to start up, but that command worked.
What for you, that command? Oh, great. I think Sven, it started working for you.
I think I'm just lost. I don't understand where I've gone wrong.
So, for me, it opened the local host, and that just has like you can close this window, and then from the command prompt, I got this other URL, experience.adobe.com/dev mode. I don't know if that, and that looks to be more interesting thing to open. I don't know if it helps.
Okay. So some of you has already completed it. Okay, just tell me, can you send me names for which it's not working?
I had some problems with my bash shell, so if I go to the normal Windows command line, now I can install it. So I'm tried something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Martin, you might have chosen like something else. You have to choose the asset compute one.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll try again. Let me start from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. I think what I can do, like I can create a breakout. I think we have like another session. So the first session is with AEM. The second session with, you can say, like the custom AI things. So in the meantime, I will help you. I think Sven is providing you some, maybe you forget to select the preset space.
Santosh, actually I joined very late, so can you help me out with the setup?
I can help you, but I think we have to wait because everyone else will have to wait for that. So it's okay. I can support you. Is it okay? Like you just go through the document, and in case if you are facing some issues, it's fine. I will help you at the you can say like once we start with Odyssey session, then I can help you in a separate room.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So just for the count, for whom I have to create a room, just ping here, like for whom it's not work. I know like for most of you, it has already worked.
Okay, I think I know what I did wrong. It's just really inobvious in the tool that you have to press, but I didn't read the instruction on the tool.
Yeah.
That I had to actually actively select the asset compute worker. I assumed because
exactly.
I had it picked in the list that was what it was going to do. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Okay. Yeah. So then, Martin, you just finish it. Then we will move to the next one.
Yeah.
Then it's okay. We will take care for you. Don't worry. We are there. Chanchalesh, what about you? Everything working fine now?
No. Actually, I'm on this page. I'm following these steps. So for me, I need to create a blob store, right? A customer.
No, blob store is already there. Blob store is already there. If you go to lab, if I'm sharing my screen, I don't know. So there you will get the blob store details. You don't have to create it. It's already created.
Once it's loading slowly. Wait. It's loading slowly for me.
Okay.
Now I see the colleagues in the screen. So it's on the projects. I'm at the Adobe Odyssey's projects. Or in the experience.adobe.com.
But if it doesn't work out for you, it's fine. I have a code. I can give it to you. You just have to run it on your local machine. That's the last time.
Okay.
So anyway you prefer. Yeah. So don't worry about it. So the next one will work for everyone. So those of you who have completed the first part, let's go to the like content and commerce AI overview. So like I said, like we have like 4 features. If you can remember correctly, we have 4 features like color extraction, keyword extractions, and in this lab, we will literally try a color extraction use case and also a keyword extraction use case. So those 2 we will try to complete within the scope of this lab. So at the end of this lab, what you will see is I have it on my machine. So this is what you will see. Any image you will upload, you will see this screen. Okay. So then the next step is, I think you can also read this statement. So for this color extraction, I hope you guys are reading this document because that is self-explanatory. So what you have to do is you have to go to console.adobe.io and you have to like select this thing, and there are like 6 lab environments that has been mapped like from 1 to 6, and you could have been assigned to any one of them. So what you have to do is this is the email ID I have. So just make a note of it wherever your AEM environment is. You might be 126 anywhere. So just check it where you are. Just make a note of it.
0, 1. So these are the sandboxes.
Yeah, these are the sandboxes. Yes.
Okay. 0, 1.
So just make a note of it. So once everyone make a note of it, that's okay. Just copy like anything. Just try to make a note of it, like which AEM environment you have been using, because that we will need at a later point of time. Okay, so now I'm going back again to the instruction section. So inside the lab, so what you have to do now is so if I go to this lab, this is my DAM workshop. So inside that lab, I have a file which is like worker cc, no, it's the other one. This is the file which is like index.js. Just copy this file and just copy this file. This is the URL of index.js. I will again ping it here inside our lab. Copy this file and replace it here. Like you might have an index.js file, just replace it with that. So once you replace that file, then you also have to replace certain other things. So now if you make a note of all of your environment, then there is a file which says, which is again so if you go and see, it says like click download on the top right corner, used to be provided in the repository. So these are the links. Just download like index.js, manifest.yml, and package.json. These are the files you have to download. And the index.js, you replace it completely. Manifest.yml and package.json, just add the delta part. You don't have to replace them completely. Any doubt up to this section?
So,
Yeah, you can clone my repo. That's fine. If you want to do it, I think if you don't want to do it, it's okay. I can give you that URL. It's publicly available. Yeah. So this is the URL. Just clone it. It's fine if you want to. If you prefer in that way.
Actually, I was trying something, but I'm falling so much behind. So I just will watch you.
Yeah. That is okay. So which index.js should be replaced? There are several in the app. Which app you are talking about? Mate? I mean, I was asking to replace only this index file. If you go to this section, just click on this index. You will get the file. Or I don't understand your question. Yeah, exactly, Sven. Yes, that index.action. I mean, inside this index.action, yeah. Action. I don't know what is your worker name. You might have like something, then there would be like index.js. So you don't have to do anything within publish. So this one inside action, there will be an index.js. So now we just have to make a note of certain things. So up to this part, replacement of index.js. How many of you, for how many of you it's not working? Okay. Okay. Once you replace that index.js, then as I shown in the demo, you might have assigned with any one of these experience manager like Adobe adaptTo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And before you do that, we have to change certain things. For example, you also have to download like manifest.yml and package.json, and there will be like some kind of delta in your package. We have to upload this package. So it might be like anything like its file, but just see about like there might be like some missing dependencies in your package.json. For example, there should not be anything which is related to like asset compute XMP. So I don't know, like in your this is like bit like 2 or 3 days before. So just update with the dependencies. So once you update with the dependencies, then I think you just have to like once you update the dependencies, then we move to the next stage. So once you are done with this tape, just click on this URL because I'm not sure like where you have assigned. Okay, 1 second. I copied it here. And you will see like adaptTo 1 to 6, but those Experience Manager, I mean those sandboxes doesn't have a name like adaptTo 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, or 06 in their URL. It is based on program ID and environment ID. So for example, if it is like adaptTo 0, then you just click on here. So you will see like E0, E60348 or P22854 or something like that. Just remember these two. Now what you have to do is go to this file and there will be a file name env.file. Just try to match it, like which one is yours. So if I see, then it's like 348, 22854 will be similar for everyone. Only the, you can say like 60348 or something will be different for you. So I mean, this one will be different. This 30489 will always be the same. So if you are assigned with, I 22853.
We cannot hear you very well, Santosh.
So mine is like adaptTo 2 is 22854. So just download this JSON. So wherever you belong to, just download this session. Download this JSON. I'm saying Matt with like, hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Odyssey, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, but it was cutting.
Okay. Okay. So all I was trying to say is, so you are in number 5. So which do I have to download now? Okay. So if you are in number 5, let me verify that. So if you are in number 5, then this is number 5. Just click on it here. So it's 22902
Well,
395.
each time that you say the number, we cannot hear you very well. So I think for Sven, I think Tero replied on the chat.
Then I think you have to download this one.
Control on the app. So please don't click on the red dot on the left of the panel. Thank you.
Yeah. So once you download, you might have saved it somewhere. So just say like AIO app use. So when you say AIO app use, then it will ask you like it is mentioned in this screen. It will, you can merge it, or you can, it's better to merge it and comment out the particular section that is required. For example, in this case, this is my apps.json. So this is how my .env file looks like. So I merged it. So these are the things I needed. So and once you are done with that, then I think it's pretty easy now. So you just have to say like AIO app or AIO app run or AIO app deploy. So just say like AIO app use, then it will ask you to merge. So just merge it and comment out the the last ones. For example, if you have like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, it will put the new ones, let's say 23 to 28. Then in that case, comment out 17 to 22, just use like 23 to 28. And just say like AIO app deploy. So once you say like AIO app deploy, it will give you a URL. So copy that URL, like something like this. So it will give you like this color extraction, something like test worker, something. It will give you like this. And it will say, well done, your app is now online. And once you have done that, then I think you just have to follow a process. In that process, what you have to do, like wherever the AEM environment you are assigned to, for example, this is not my environment. I am using this one, adaptTo. So just go to this environment and click on this one, the tool one, then click on assets. You will see like the metadata schemas, and just say like the default metadata schema, edit it. And yeah, I think someone has already done it. Yeah, it's mine. So if you see like the CCAI color, so this is a multi-value text. You can say like in build form, this is the tab. You just have to drag and drop. It will create a multi-value text for you. And inside that, in map property, just say like CCI color names. And here in the map properties, just say like CCI color RGB. And once you are done with that, then go to processing profiles. Then you can say like create a new processing profile. And in that processing profile, all you have to do is click on this custom one, enable this create metadata rendition, and wherever, whatever the URL you got from your app, copy it here, then save it. So once you are done with that, what you can do, you can go to files, and you can apply this processing profile rule inside any of this folder, Or what you can do, like you can normally upload an asset, and after uploading an asset, let's say this is my asset. No. So this is my asset. You can always say like reprocess asset. Then it will ask you like which processing profile to use. You can say like color extraction. So just click on that and you can say like process it or reprocess it. In case if you want to apply it on a folder, then you just have to, I don't know what's happening. Then you just have to apply that. You just have to click on this one. I don't know why I'm not getting it. You just have to apply that metadata processing profile on top of this folder. So that's all, and it will start working for you. You will see something similar to this, where everything is generated for you. So I hope it's working for you now.
Yeah, it just triggered the hibernation for the number 5. So that should be available soon.
And I think we cannot complete the keyword processing part. I will just, I think, I don't know, Odyssey, we agree like 6.5 or 6.10?
We agree 6.10, but we can start 6.5 if you want.
No, it's okay. Let's give like everyone like 8 minutes of time.
Sure, of course.
The same process, yeah, you have to follow for like keyword extraction, and everything is documented in the same lab. So if you have time, if you are interested, try the keyword extraction as well. And it's the same, like you can say like the same process you have to follow for keyword extraction. So from a designing perspective, I think what it does is like it is explained in the PD in this PPT. It generates keywords. It extracts color for you. But again, like I said, like now you have the option when you go to the source code of index.js, you will see you can say like what kind of metadata you need. So that metadata design, you have to do it by yourself, meaning based on your customer's requirement, based on your requirement, you have to design that metadata. So first you have to plan for all the metadata, then design those metadata, then inside asset processing, extract those metadata, then apply those metadata. So once this metadata are there, then you can further use those metadata to search and optimize for targetation. And if you want to do like some kind of visual recommendation, then also it's possible. Custom classifier is completely different, and it will literally, you can do all of this like content tagging, content reuse and authoring, metadata enhancement and search, visual site search and content similarity, media transformation and personalizers. All of these things you can do. But I think the content aware insights and personalization, up to some part you can do, but for some part you have to have a like proper analytics implementation. And in the second part of the lab, which will be done by Odyssée, I think that is completely dedicated to get some kind of reporting and all that kind of stuff. So that will be covered in the second part of the lab. So How many of you completed the color extraction? In case you are facing any issues, just let us know. Now I will stop sharing my screen so that I can answer those questions. Okay, Sven, I think it's working for you. Use AIO app Okay, sorry. AIO app use. Then I think you have to use AIO app use, not AIO use.
Right.
Okay, we are almost time. We are shifting to the next lab, and we will come back. Like if you are interested, I can stay back. I can guide you, and that documentation is still there. Odyssey, just 2 minutes. Yeah. So I think the text worker is the code is already there. It's also documented, so you don't have to like bother about it. You can still try it. Everything is properly documented. The code base is there. Now you know how to work on it. So it is powered by Firefly. I mean, all the application and everything. So when you say AIO app in it, it automatically creates an app for you. So yeah, good to see it started working for some of you. So over to you, Odyssey.
Cool, thank you, Santosh. That was very interesting, and I know that AEM as a cloud service can be tricky to set up, to de-hibernate, and it can take time to set up all those things. The second part of the workshop is, so first it will run into Docker, so you don't have to set up on your own machine, in just Docker, of course, and you can come back to the Santosh workshop later and finish your work. All right. The second part of the workshop is more dedicated to data science. That's completely a new approach that I'm explaining here, a new approach on AEM. So how to do data science directly into AEM using some extra libraries. Just to present myself, because I haven't presented myself first. So my name is Odyssée. I'm working for Adobe for the past 8 years now as an AEM consultant, and now as a multi-solution architect. I'm fully dedicated on machine learning and artificial intelligence features at Adobe. And so now I will share my screen and switch to the presentations. So I guess you can see the presentations. So yeah, I'm based on in Adobe France, and the prerequisites that you had to go through. So first, you had to install Docker. So I'm pretty sure that you have that installed on your own machines. Then, as part of the prerequisite, there was this second command, the Docker pull image. So it's an image that is stored on the Docker hub that weighs more than 2 gigabytes. And I asked you to download it before, just to make sure that we don't disrupt your bandwidth. The command 3 and 4, it's a command that you can run now, because on the script, on the command 4, the script start.sh will launch AEM, and it can take a couple of minutes to run, more than 5 minutes actually. So if you already pulled the image, the adaptTo image, just execute the Docker run command, and I will paste that into the chat. All right, so that's the first command. That's the second command. If you can, on the same way, if you can share your screen, I mean, splitting your screen between what you are doing and see what I'm executing as well, that will make things much more helpful. So if you see on my terminal here, I first pull the Docker image from my repo on Docker. So it has been downloading all the image, the more than 2 gigabytes, and then I executed the Docker run command. So it should start with Docker and it should end with bash. to make sure that you will execute a bash at the end of the command. And so this command will run the image. It will open some ports. I will explain more on that later. And then once it's done, you can start the script sh space dot slash start.sh. And these scripts will start AEM. And I just wanted to make sure that we start this first, and then I will explain what we will be going through.
Odyssée, just a comment. Please share, how do you say, like we are seeing the complete screen instead of only the terminal. That would be great, because I'm also doing it live.
Sure. So what do you mean? You're seeing the screen, the terminal now?
I mean, only terminal is a small part of it. Just share only the terminal, not the entire screen. I mean, you can make the terminal a bit bigger. So
sure.
That will solve it. Yeah.
Sure, but there will be a second part on the second half. No worry.
Okay.
So here, I give you a couple of seconds, and I will explain what this command does. Just in the meantime, you can execute it on your own machine. So you need to install Docker. You have pulled that image, which is more than 2 gigabytes. And that inside that image, you have AEM and something else that is named Jupyter, a Jupyter notebook, right? And so we execute that image, and it opens 2 ports. The port 1, which is 8888, and the port number 2, which is 4502, that you know, huh? Of course. So the port 8888 is the port for Jupyter to execute the server. And I will explain what is Jupyter right before that. It's just that I wanted you to start AEM, and so I can go through the explanations now. And so in the meanwhile, AEM will start and unpack in the background on the Docker image.
So for me, just
Sure.
a quick question. Actually, for me, something is coming no hub appending output to no hub dot out. What is
Sure,
it?
sure. It's just that's a good question. It's just that AEM is executing in the background as well the Jupyter notebook. So if you hit enter, actually I have the exact same message here. If you look at my screen.
Yeah.
Right. So if you hit enter, you will fall on this line, on this command line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so from here, meaning that AEM is starting, Jupyter is starting, and you can wait for here and just listen for the explanations, and then we will come back to the terminal.
Okay.
All right. So just a couple of definitions. Here, what we want is to do data science on AEM. So first, what is a data scientist? You might have heard of the name before, of course. Maybe some of you knows already what is a data scientist. But the data scientist is a cool word for statisticians or an analyst. It's some kind of statistician that is using new technologies like new frameworks, new libraries, even AI, to answer questions with facts and numbers. So for example, on AEM, if you have a question, very simple questions, how many assets do you have on AEM? That might be quite tricky to answer. And that's the kind of business question that you can have. A business user comes to you and say, how many assets do we have on AEM? And say, I'm not sure. I don't know really how to look at that. Or how much weight all those assets. You can say, okay, I can size on the hard drive the directory. But actually, you won't have a very clear answer. And one good thing is to do some data science. So it's to connect to AEM, to analyze the data on the AEM, and to get those and to answer those questions. And we will answer some of the questions in a couple of minutes. And on free times, those data scientists, what are they doing? They are doing AI and ML, and they also compete on Kaggle.com. That's a very well-known place for data scientists to go and to compete on some projects. There are multiple companies that push some projects there, push some data and say, okay, what's the best answer to my questions? And all the data scientists compete to get the best answer. But it's with fact and numbers, so you can go very in details on those answers. All right, so the workshop, what we will do. So the first part of the workshop, so I mean on this part of the workshop, the first thing is we will do data science in AEM using Python with a library that is named AEMPy. So it's a Python library for AEM. If you don't know Python, you don't have to worry. It's just command line. I'm sure that you are some developer knowledge on any kind of language. That would be more than enough. But Python is a very simple language, and this library, AEMPy, will let us query AEM to gather some data from it. And then on the second part, we will go to the Jupyter Notebook. We will build a report directly using a new server named the Jupyter Notebook. The Jupyter Notebook, it's some kind of, it's like the Eclipse for Java, but the Jupyter Notebook lets us execute some code directly on the browser and to query AEM and have results directly. And we can visualize those results very easily. So why do we use Python? Python is the language of data scientists. Everyone that does data science or manipulate data, a lot of data, use Python. The reasons for that, it's because it's simple and fast. It has already strong scientific libraries like scikit-learn, NumPys, Pandas. It has very strong machine learning libraries. If you look at, you have PyTorch, TensorFlow, and MXNet. So those three libraries are the main one on the market for machine learning. And then Python gives us the possibility to have some graphics and to visualize the data that we are working on. All right. So why AEMPy? So AEMPy, as said, it's a Python library that will let us query AEM. So we will be able to query assets, logs, page, repository directly, and many other data. And from all those data, we can manipulate them to answer some very basic and advanced questions. And we will see an example right after. Jupyter, why Jupyter? So Jupyter, as mentioned, it's a tool, it's an IDE that works directly on the browser with different cells, and we will play with it right after. And so you can see that it has many cells that you can add as well as much cells as you want, and you can execute those cells. And meaning that you don't have to compile, you don't have to deploy or whatever, you just execute those cells and have results directly. So if you have some questions on the data, you can directly use AEMPy on the Jupyter Notebook and see the results. And you have a lot of visualizations, map, diagrams, over diagrams, many over correlations diagrams, and even tables that are really visual to make it easier to read. All right. So that's the part. That's why on the workshop we will use AEMPy as a library and Jupyter. All right, so let's start. I hope it's clear what we will try to achieve, but what's in detail, you will see that in detail. You will see that in detail what we want exactly to achieve. So here,
small question: can this Jupyter be used for any other programming languages or only for Python?
Only for Python at the moment. Okay. There are some testing to export that on other languages, but actually Python is the main one. There are some minor other languages like Julia, but they are really small languages, not popular one.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So if you are still on the GitHub of the adaptTo workshop, I will post it again. I will post the link here again. Right. So you might fall on this page of the data science. And I will keep my screen like this with on the right the terminal and on the left the GitHub. So we have been through the prerequisites already, and then we'll start with the lab. So if you can try to watch my screen and execute at the same time on the same screen, that will make things much more easier. So you don't need to read the first things, because I'm just mentioning that you should have gone through the prerequisites. Here on the point 1.1, we do the Docker run that we have just done before, so no need to do it again. And then we have started the script here to launch the Jupyter server and AEM. But for the first part of the workshop, we don't need Jupyter server and AEM. Actually, we need AEM. We need the AEM to be running, up and running. So I guess now, if you have run the command, the start.sh here, AEM should be up and running now. All right. So on your terminal, you have this line. You should be on the workspace directory. All right. And what we will do is first to type Python to enter into the Python command line. All right. And here, so we are on Python 3.7, which is almost the latest version of Python. And we are on the interpreter. So here we can type any command and Python will interpret it. So the first thing to do is to import the AEM Py library. I just do copy and paste, and it will go quicker if we do copy and paste. All right. So here, Python has imported the library. And the next command, we will connect to AEM using the AEM Py library. So here I'm using AEM Py library.aem, which connects to my AEM server. Then finally, then I want to get the product information just for basic testing. So here I'm copying product.info equals instance.info. So I'm gathering the info from AEM, and I can see the request. If you get an error here, it might means that AEM is not up yet. All right, but you can see that it's a very simple request. So for debugging purpose, I'm printing the request here. All right, so I have the info into this object, product info. Let's print the version of AEM to check which version I have. So I'm using the print method, and inside I do print info.versions. All right, and here I'm printing, so I can see that I'm getting the Adobe Experience Manager 6.5.3. All right, which is almost the latest versions with the latest service pack. So
sorry, how exactly this AEM is running in the background, using what actually?
Oh, actually, AEM is running like any kind of AEM. It's just that I have installed.
Okay, so we are running inside this workspace, which we just imported into the repository.
Exactly, AEM is running. So that's why here, actually, we have mapped the port.
So it's a Docker. It's a Docker, okay.
Yeah, it's a Docker image. It's a Docker image, and so yeah, that's a simply Docker image where AEM is packed inside. All right, so from here we will be working with the error logs. What we want to do as a data scientist is to get answers on the error logs, maybe to have some statistics about what kind of logs do we have. Do we have a lot of errors or not? So on the fourth point, I'm connecting to the system, so which is the system console of AEM, and I'm getting the object system. All right. And what I want to do once I get the system, it's to get the 5 first line of the error.log file. So you know that the error.log file is the main file where you get almost everything printed on it. So here, if I type system.log underscore error 5, I get the 5 first line, and I can print it. I copy print error.logs, and it prints the 5 first error. If I want, by pressing arrow up, I can go back to this one, and I can type 10 here just to change the number, and I will get the 10 lines of the error, and I print it again, and I get more logs. Okay, so it's quite simple from here. We just query some logs, we get the logs back. But as you can see, it's not readable at all. So we will we will first import all the logs here. By not specifying numbers on the log.error, we will import all the error.log files that is on AEM. All right, so without any limits. Well, with a limit of 10,000 by default. So here we have much more errors on the error.log. But to read that, if I print here the 10,000 lines, it will be, my terminal will become completely messy. So for that, we need something that will help us to start to understand the logs and to do some statistics about the logs. So we will import the library that is named Pandas. Pandas is a library to help do very heavy data science. So we import Pandas. It's very simple by doing import Pandas as PD. PD is for short name of Pandas. And then we will parse the logs. So here I'm doing, you might not need to understand all of that, but just do a copy and paste. Here we are just splitting the logs from error.logs object, and we are creating what we call in Pandas a data frame. So the data frame will handle all the logs. All right. So here I hit enter, and Pandas has split all the logs. Then I will just add names to the columns to make it more readable. All right, so I've just say df.log, the data frame, rename the column, and I specified some columns here. All right, let's print the column. Let's print the logs. If you print the logs, you can see that now we start to have a more readable way of seeing the logs. On the first column, we have the indexes. Then we have the dates. So you can see that we have some issues with the dates because it's not parsed correctly. And then we have the time. Then we have the level. We have the level of the logs. And we have some other messages. It's a bit better, of course, but it's still a bit messy. So we have in AEMPy, there is a parsing method that will help us to parse the logs correctly. So that's on the point number 6, where we convert the logs to a Panda data frame. So here again, I will convert all the logs. It might take a couple of seconds because here we are parsing the logs in a more heavier way. And then after that, once it will be finished, I will print using the head method of Pandas. I will print the 10 first line of that table. I don't want to print the 10,000 lines. Let's just print the 10 first line. So here I print df_errors.head, and it prints the 10 first line. You can see that here, so first I have a date, and I have...
It's still on the system log for me.
On the system, yeah, depending on your computer, it might take a couple of seconds.
Okay. It's done. Okay.
Yeah. So if I print the error, I've increased the size of my terminal for more readability. But you can see that now, if I print the head, so the 10 first line, actually it's the 5 first line, I get the date, which is well parsed, the info level of the logs, well, the level of the logs, the class that is causing the issue, and the message as well. Of course, I can increase my terminal for more readability and understand what are the message. I can even filter by log levels if I need and understand my logs. But as a data scientist, I want to do some description. I want to get some statistics on my logs. So here, if I print just before the 0.7, if I do on the data frame, if I do a describe, here, describe, I will get some statistics on my logs because the library pandas will automatically calculate that. So first, I can see that I have 900 messages on my logs, and I'm sure if I request the logs again now, I will get much more messages. I have 2 levels of logs, so I'm not sure which one. Maybe it's info and error. I don't have any warm message yet. The top message, it's an error on the metrics RDDG reporter. And I can see, for example, the first date. It started at 3:28 and it ended at 4:41. All right. So the describe method just give me some basic statistics about the logs.
Data is different for me, I think.
Yeah, sure. Of course, it should be different because you have your own AEM running. Maybe you have your info here, right?
Yeah.
So that everyone might have a different logs from his AEM instance. Even the date might be completely different. All right. So let's on the 0.7. I want to analyze in a more deeper way my logs. I want to check the error logs. All right, so if I filter here, I copy this line and I filter here by error logs, just printing a title here of formations about log errors, it can make things easier to read. I will print the 5 first line of the logs here. And you can see that now, as a data scientist or even as a DevOps, I can have a very clear view of what errors appears on my log error without having to open it in an extra tool and going through each line and trying to analyze it. And again, I can do the tail, which will give me the 5 last line. But I want to, in a matter of time, I will do a describe here. And on the describe, I can see that I can have other statistics, but only on the error logs. All right. So that's, I will try to hurry up a bit, just to make sure that we cover the second part, which is very interesting about log predictions. So here it's just to get you familiar with AEM-Py. So the library, the Python library, which has requested AEM, and how we request logs. But if you now we will go to Jupyter Notebook, to the Jupyter Notebook, and do the exact same thing, but inside Jupyter. So Jupyter Notebook is accessible by doing localhost 8888. And then it will open a file browsing. I will just post it here.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh, you have AEM 6.5. Sorry, I haven't seen that earlier that you have AEM 6.5. Is that how it's because maybe the service pack wasn't installed yet? So because it's AEM 6.5.3 and the service pack was currently installed. So maybe if you run it now, if you run the same command to get the product versions now, you will get 6.5.3. And make sure as well that you don't have any other AEM instance running. All right, going back to Jupyter Notebook. Now, even if the first part on the terminal didn't work, you don't have to worry. This part will start from another thing. So on the Jupyter Notebook, I guess you can all access it. So the Jupyter Notebook server is hosted on the Docker image. So you can play with the Jupyter server. You have two files here, but well, you have 3 files, but you have 2 notebooks, the IP, Y, and B. So if you open the first one, the log basics, it opens the notebook, and you will find everything that we have just done in the terminal directly into Jupyter. And if you want to execute that line by line, so make sure that you are you have the blue threads all around your cell, and you type Shift Enter. And if you see a star and the 1, it means it has been executed. And by pressing Shift Enter, it goes to the next cell. So you can go next, 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 right, next, 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 and it will do exactly the same that we have done in the terminal. So no need to spend a lot of time on that. Right, it takes some time. All the stars mean it's processing. So you can see that here, the Panda data frame looks much more nicer. All right, and here I have exactly the same tables that I had on my terminal, but now it's directly on my Firefox. And I would expand it so it makes it much more readable. And so as we have only 3 minutes left, actually I will run through the other notebooks by myself. If you can just follow it on my screen, and then you will understand how to reproduce it on your computer as well. This notebook is already filled with all the lines, so you don't have to type or copy and paste, just to make sure that you will understand how to work with the Jupyter Notebook. So the Jupyter Notebook here gives us the possibility to execute code directly in cells. So we have many cells here, and so I will import here the same thing. I will import many other libraries. Here I'm doing exactly the same things as before. I'm requesting the error logs. And by requesting the error logs, I get some files, and I can answer one first question. What is the distributions of the message level? Meaning, how many messages do I have per message levels? So I'm grouping them, and I can see that I have 753 errors and 200 info message. So meaning that my currently my AEM instance might have bigger issues. Okay, if I plot that on the diagram, here here I can see all the error message that follow the same pattern here. All right. So we have the error message that are constant and the info message that are here. And what we want to do in these notebooks, and I have 1 minute left, so I will run it very quickly. What I want to do is to predict those kind of errors. So for that, I will use another error log that contains much more logs. And I will execute here. just to show you how it works. So here I'm parsing exactly the same way that I have done with the error.log file. I'm parsing this log file that has a lot of errors and info messages. Right? So Pandas, he's parsing the file, so it might take a couple of seconds as well. And it will group the messages here per levels. So I might run, so I will exit that. Right. I might not have enough memory on my, I hope.
Thank you so much, Odyssey.
Yeah, sorry for that, but
the time was really limited to go through it, but it helped.
Sure, cool. Just at the end of this workshop, you have at the end of this notebook, you have a machine learning model that makes predictions of the errors, and it shows how it will predict the errors in the future on your log. So you can execute that if you are curious to see what it might look like.
So it uses the old data which we have just compiled, and it will predict for future.
Exactly. It will use the current log file and predict for future what it might look like. Actually, yeah. First, you have your machine learning model that will train here. So you can see that the error, the average epoch loss is the error of your machine learning model. And it trains and trains and trains for 50 epochs. So more your computer is powerful, faster it will be. And at the end, it can predict how the logs will run in the future. And see if you have some anomaly, you can prevent your AEM instance from crashing. Meaning that if you have some more error, or if the errors follow a pattern, it means that your instance will probably crash.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your attention. You can execute the full notebook on your computer. And this is an introduction of the library AEMPy of the Jupyter Notebook. Tomorrow, I have a sessions on AEM.ai and AEM as a content science platform, which is much more advanced on artificial intelligence and machine learning directly on AEM. So we go as deep as today, but it's not a workshop. It's just a presentation of new technology on AEM.
Okay.
And if you want to know more, just come to the sessions tomorrow. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy the workshop.
Thank you, Odyssey. Thank you so much. Thank you, Santosh, if you are still there.
Yeah, I think he's around. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Odyssey. Santosh is there, I think. Yeah. So maybe thank you, guys, and I'll come back to you if we can connect again regarding the AEM part.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There is one question for you, Odyssey.
Yeah, I think I have to send everyone to the lobby. Yeah, guys, if you don't have any question, let's close this.
There is one actually. Would you run such a machine learning on production?
I think Odyssey already
yes.
said yes. Yeah.
So I will run. So because it doesn't have to run on the machine of the production, on the production server, you can run that completely on the side of AEM.
Yeah.
Here I just set up the Docker image to make it simple for everyone.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.